Shawnee Mission Schools invite the community to learn more about safety in the district. Peppermint candies aren't just for eating. Find out how students use them to reinforce lessons on friction and force. Happy birthday, Indian Hills! We'll see how the middle school is celebrating its 60th year. Plus, veterans share stories to help students understand the price of freedom. It's all ahead on this episode of Spotlight on Shawnee Mission. Welcome to Spotlight on Shawnee Mission. I'm your host, Leanne Neal. For the district, educating students may be job one, but school safety is also a top priority. With that in mind, Shawnee Mission held a series of town hall meetings to brief the community on the district's safety and security measures.
I took a look at the security of the whole district, and I tried to come to some conclusions as to what it was that we needed to do to be able to give to the superintendent recommendation for capital improvements, because security is not the only part of the things that need to be fixed.
Shawnee Mission School District's Director of Safety and Security, John Douglas, led the meetings held at schools throughout the district.
The public and the patrons of the school district were very clear on wanting to have a secure environment. This is our report to the patrons of what we have accomplished and what we hope to accomplish in the future.
Among the progress so far, safety upgrades completed at 16 schools, including new perimeter fencing and controlled access entries.
Remember, I told you one of the most important features of security is the ability to control your perimeter. And we put in things to allow access into the school, but in a controlled way so we could control the perimeter. So you come in and we now vet you to make sure you're supposed to be there.
This pinch point entry, as well as new security cameras, are already in place at some schools.
Well, it's definitely increased the security. It's an extra layer of support that helps ensure the safety of the staff and students.
At the district's high schools, controlling access is a bit more complicated, as Douglas explained in this meeting at Shawnee Mission West.
Now let's talk about the high schools. We think this is a secure building. We have a high school principal right here. This is not a secure building, is it, Steve? It's a tent. It's a tent because it has so many doors, so many ways out.
It is a very big challenge at the high school because we are so spread out and we have so many doors. We have over 45 doors at this building. We have three really main entrances. We have a main front entrance, but we also have an Antioch entrance where many of our staff and students come in, and then we have a 85th Street entrance where another group of our students come in, so it's a pretty busy place.
Among the security enhancements Douglas has proposed for high schools, improved surveillance camera systems and dedicated campus security officers to monitor doors and hallways and to help control building access. Principal Lowe says it will make a significant difference.
So from really about 7:40 to 2:40, we will have a much better grasp on who comes in and out of our building, and that's the key.
I really think it's a good plan. I like the good cameras in the schools and the pass cards, and the fact that there will be some reconstruction to make entry a lot more difficult, and I think that's necessary in this day and age.
I think that we've made really good progress, and I think that in a short order we can revitalize and revolutionize the security atmosphere of a district. But it's a never-ending job. Maybe that's the real challenge, is that it's always measure, countermeasure, and so staying on top of it is the challenge.
Douglas says upgrades to security at all Shawnee Mission schools will continue and could be completed over the summer, pending voter approval of a bond initiative. If you were unable to attend the safety town halls, you can watch online. Did you know Shawnee Mission high schools offer classes in biotechnology, health sciences, engineering, and legal studies? Coming up, students discover the district's signature programs. This story and more when we return.
I'm Liv, and this is my trusty sidekick, Olive.
I thought you were supposed to be the sidekick. Whatever. We go to Belinda Elementary, and we're here to tell you about the super book we read, The Adventures of Bean Boy by Lisa Harkrader. Can you imagine the main character, Tucker McBean, lives in Kansas?
Just like us. This book is about a boy with an interesting brother. I think I know something about that. And he has to babysit him because his dad lives all the way in Boston and his mom's always at college.
On top of that, Tucker has to deal with the school dance, popularity, and being what everybody calls a comic book dweeb. Then there's the school bully, Sam Zawicki. Nobody wants to breathe the same air as Sam.
Much less be in our class.
But then Sam ends up at Tucker's house every night, babysitting his little brother.
I would not want the school bully at my house.
And I wouldn't want the school bully with my little brother.
Then it's almost as he sees the holy light. His favorite comic book brand,
Dark Overlord Comics,
has a contest to find a sidekick for his favorite superhero, H2O.
And the grand prize is a full scholarship to college, just what his mom needs. On the flyer it says dig deep to find your heroic heart.
But Tucker's doubting he has one.
Can Tucker deal with all of his school drama and comic book problems? I really like the book Bean Boy, and I rated it 5 stars.
I think this book is better for grades 3 through 5 boys.
Find your heroic heart in this book, in
The Adventures of Bean Boy.
Welcome back. This year, Indian Hills Middle School marks 60 years of educating students. To celebrate, the school invited alumni, former teachers, and community members to visit and share memories of the school's first 6 decades. The commemoration began as guests first entered the building and continued inside with a special display of memorabilia from the school's past. Many stopped to flip through an old yearbook or two. Others reminisced while looking at old photos and school newspapers. Spiritware on display reminded alumni that the Indian Hills Middle School Knights were once the Indian Hills Junior High Warriors. At lunch, Ed Gould, who taught for 40 years at Indian Hills, wasn't quite ready to relinquish his educator role.
While you're waiting there, if you've not discovered it, you are having a test. And place for you to write your name and answer the questions down below.
Among the questions, how many families had multiple generations attend Indian Hills? The answer? More than 80 students are the second generation, and at least 9 are the third generation to attend Indian Hills. In the Borso family, all 14 children attended Indian Hills. Jerome was student council president when he was a student.
It was a great school, a lot of friends, a lot of people I still keep in contact with today. I went to the junior high with.
You know, then the plays and the sports, you know, open houses, I guess we're a part of all of it. And it turned out great.
I think maybe the most important class I ever took here was typing. It's one I use every day, right?
During the luncheon, graduate Kip Niven shared a special memory of his time at Indian Hills.
I left the Midwest. I lived in Los Angeles for 15 years and New York for 9, but when my daughter was just a year old, my wife, who went to Shawnee Mission North, and I moved back here so that Maggie could grow up here and have the same kind of wonderful foundation that she and I both enjoyed here.
Charles Rockledge served as principal at Indian Hills for 11 years. When he left, the staff surprised him with a briefcase, which he still has today.
So it has a lot of use, but it has a real meaning to me because it tells me what kind of staff we have here. On here is a little plaque, little silver plaque that says, "For 11 years of harmony." Thank you.
Well, in fact, I was real surprised. Quite a few of the people that were on staff when I was here were here today, and so that was really great. In fact, the little lady that was just right here, she came clear up from Oklahoma. I had hired her as a vice principal. She was one of the first women vice principals.
So I want to thank all you guys for coming.
Current Indian Hills principal Scott Sherman shared some of what's new at the school.
Two of our bigger initiatives is we now have sports this year. We're really proud of the fact of that. The kids have done a great job.
He also talked about the district's technology initiative, which equips each middle school student with an iPad and offers exciting new ways for Indian Hills to continue its tradition of excellence.
Yeah, oh, I remember that, yeah. Yeah, this brings back the times.
Social media technology is what connected Indian Hills graduate Derek Moore to this celebration at his old stomping grounds.
Found out about it on Facebook, and I love reunions and nostalgia and appreciation of the teachers and what they did for us as young people, and I wanted to come back and see them and just relive the days and remember and keep in mind how important it is to be educated like I was.
Well done, Indian Hills. Keep up the good work. Students in the district's signature programs are doing some impressive work in areas such as health science, engineering, and culinary arts. But what does it take to be part of these programs? That is the question the Signature Summit aimed to answer. Coordinators and student representatives from the district's 7 specialized programs of study set up shop at Broadmoor Technical Center for an evening that offered an overview and an opportunity to ask questions about these programs and curriculum. For some, it was their first chance to see programs such as Project Lead the Way, which is the district's pre-engineering program. Others came with their questions ready.
Have you ever had a project where somebody builds a very minimal computer using flip-flops and XOR and AND gates for the ALU?
There's a bunch of that. It is totally in this class.
Tonight, what we're trying to do is showcase the signature programs that are offered within the Shawnee Mission School District. These signature programs, 7 in number, have been in place for the last 8 to 10 years, and the programs are designed to provide an opportunity for students to accelerate their learning within specific content areas. And we've wanted to open it up to parents of students in grades 7 through 11 so that we could try to showcase the opportunities that are available to our students.
Shawnee Mission North student Rachel Clark says being part of the Medical Health Science Signature Program has been a big plus for her.
It's amazing. I feel like personally it puts me a step ahead of everybody else. You learn so much more and you find yourself in it because I didn't know what I wanted to do until I did this program.
Health science students learn skills including how to draw blood, take vital signs, and make a cast.
It's amazing because when you see it done, you know what they're checking for, you know what they're doing. You can relate what you've learned to what they're doing, so it's awesome.
Broadmoor Technical Center houses 2 signature programs. One, Animation and Interactive Media, uses state-of-the-art software and equipment to teach 21st century multimedia skills such as 3D modeling and game design. Broadmoor is also home to the district's award-winning Culinary Arts Signature Program, complete with commercial kitchens and an in-house restaurant, the Broadmoor Bistro. The International Baccalaureate Signature Program is offered at 3 district high schools, Shawnee Mission East, Shawnee Mission North, and Shawnee Mission Northwest. IB's challenging curriculum gives students an opportunity to develop critical thinking skills they will need in college and beyond.
With the IB program, you're going to get a lot more depth. You're going to have a lot more opportunities to partake in class discussions and different projects that aren't necessarily orthodox. They aren't necessarily the normal way school's done. And it just kind of expands your knowledge and the way we think about things.
Quentin says the most common question and biggest concern he heard was whether IB's extended essay and extra requirements were too challenging.
People are wondering, how do you handle it all? Because there's kind of a stigma that the IB program is this immense thing. And it is rigorous, but at the same time, it's very rewarding. And for me, I have fun doing it. I really do. So I don't see it as much as a big load as much as I see it as just a big opportunity.
There's plenty of opportunity for real-life experience in the district's biotechnology signature program. Seniors shadow with biotech industry or university professionals and conduct research of their own. Austin's research centers on a common antimicrobial that often ends up contaminating groundwater.
I'm looking at how to take it out of the water using natural ways like algae through phytoremediation. So the algae will actually take the triclosan up into it, and then we can safely remove it that way.
Middle school parent Monica Augustine says she and her daughter learned a lot at the Signature Summit.
It was really interesting how many different specialized programs that the district has. Definitely makes me jealous from the programs that my school had when I was in high school, or nothing like this.
To learn more about the district's different signature programs, visit smsd.org and click on the Signature Programs link on the lower right. Shawnee Mission East is home to the district's Legal Studies Signature Program. It is one of only a few high schools in the country offering courses on law and its reciprocal relationship with social needs, expectations, and norms. Up next, using technology to get students excited about math with iPad lessons that really measure up. Plus, we'll show you a fun way peppermints are reinforcing the law of physics when Spotlight on Shawnee Mission returns. Welcome back. On your mark, get set, go! The race was on at Merriam Park Elementary as students used some pretty basic ingredients to discover a recipe for fun and learn a little physics in the process.
Today we are doing a peppermint racer experiment. So the children were given a baggie full of supplies. They had the little lifesavers, peppermints, straws, some of the sticks and tape, and they had to build a workable peppermint racer.
The student teams had 15 minutes to design and build their racers. Some spent a lot of time on the aesthetics of the design. Others kept the look simple, hoping it would be the formula for success.
Each of you have a science, social studies, and math book. You'll take all three of those books, stack them up, and use your whiteboard as the ramp. Part of this is just kind of a review in friction, a review in all the laws of motion. A lot of the children figured out that if they have tape dragging or part of their car dragging, it's not going to go as far as it should. So what do you think the next step might be?
I can't believe I was on this mistake.
What should we do with that tape, do you think?
Get on
peel some of it off and see if that makes your racer go farther.
As the teams tested out their initial designs, students worked together to decide if any changes needed to be made. After adjustments were made, it was time to make it official.
If you are finished, you need to carry your racer over to her and she's going to record the final measurements. That way we will see which group's racers went the farthest.
Many were pleased with their peppermint racers' performance.
Our racer went to about 64 inches. It was pretty good. When it rolled down the ramp, I gave it like a 5. But once it went to 64 inches, I was like, whoa, this thing may look lame, but it's pretty good. Ours got 66 centimeters, and we feel like that was a really good score. It was kind of complicated to build, but we did build it, and we got 32 inches.
In the end, what did students take away from this day?
Never give up and work together. That it takes skill, concentration, and you need the right parts. I learned that it's not always about winning. It's about having fun with your friends.
I think a lot of times in classrooms, kids don't have the opportunity to work together, but in future jobs, they will be working together. So this is a good opportunity to experience frustration and experience times when, you know, they all have different ideas and how to figure out whose idea they're going to go with. That's part of working together. It's not always smooth, and that's okay to experience that.
Every Friday, students at Merriam Park get to participate in a special science, technology, engineering, and math activity like Peppermint Racers, funded by a $5,000 science grant from GE. The district's digital learning initiative gives teachers new ways to teach and students new ways to learn. Check out a fun way they're using iPads to reinforce measuring and math skills at Rosehill Elementary.
You've got this side, but how are we going to calculate your area and perimeter if we don't have this?
We are working on a project that is called Geometry Scavenger Hunt, where we go around the school, outside and inside our classroom, and take pictures of geometry stuff.
We started our first technology unit and we integrated it with math and reading. So the kids were running around after 30 minutes of instruction, taking pictures of geometric terms that we discussed and calculating area and perimeter, and then later today in reading and writing they will write about it.
Yesterday we had talked about different lines with parallel lines, perpendicular, and intersecting, and then they also looked at angles, acute, obtuse, right, and straight. Today not only did they have to find 3 squares and 3 rectangles, they had to take yardsticks and measuring tapes out and measure out the sides with their teams so that they can, during reading today, calculate the perimeter and area of each item.
And then we get our iPads and take pictures of it and measure it. And then after that, we will go on Google Drive, and then we will do a project and present it to our class.
They're loving the new iPads. I had a kid yesterday come in actually and say, Ms. Sherman, thank you for this amazing project. And it's all they want to do. Never before have I had kids tell me they don't want to go to recess, but they did not want to go yesterday. They're loving it and they're doing a phenomenal job.
It helps us because we don't have to draw the picture on a piece of paper. We just take the picture and we don't have to write all that. We can just type it and use markers to kind of sketch of what it is.
The iPads have made things a little more interesting. The kids really enjoy working on them, but having the ability to do the pictures and capture things in an instant has really been nice. My kids really love anything where we record ourselves or we're timing ourselves. I've done a lot of fluency where they can record themselves reading for their 1-minute timing, and then they get to listen to themselves read it and find the mistakes that they made. And they really like that because then no one else is necessarily grading them, but they're kind of getting to check and hear themselves, which has been really fun.
Oh, I love the iPad. It's attached to me as I walk around the room. I even have a handle because I don't like to put it down. So hardly ever use my whiteboard anymore, and that's such a big gift. And it's just allowed me to be a lot more creative in the ways that I can present things, especially for my visual learners.
It's great to see how teachers are utilizing technology to get students engaged in learning through the district's digital learning initiative. Up next, learning from those who fought for America's freedom.
Hi, I'm Courtney and I go to Brickridge Elementary. I read the book Bomb, The Race to Build and Steal the World's Most Dangerous Weapon by Steve Schenken. Around Christmas time in 1938, a German chemist made an extraordinary discovery. Atoms could be split. During the process, incredible amounts of energy could be released. If this energy release could be controlled, it could lead to the greatest weapon the world had ever seen. This launched a secret and sometimes violent race that would take over 3 continents. The participants were scientists working for the US, Russian spies, Norwegian military commandos, and some of the nastiest dictators who have ever roamed the earth. The grand prize, dominance over the entire world. This is the true story of the atomic bomb. I rate this book 4 out of 5 stars because this book had great plot twists and amazing detail. Go check it out.
Welcome back. Sometimes the best way to understand and appreciate history is by hearing from those who lived it. At Indian Woods Middle School, a special assembly helped connect students with our country's past.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes
We're just trying to do our best to recognize our military veterans, within the nation. And as a social studies teacher, I really believe that this is the most important thing that we need to hit as teachers. From the revolution to gain our independence, to the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, these soldiers come from all walks of life and demonstrate the makeup and ideals of the American people. It's my pleasure to welcome veteran of the United States Navy, Mr. Dale Kuhn.
Dale Kuhn, he is a Korean War veteran. He served in the Marine Corps as a medic, and he was involved in combat in what's now North Korea on a place called Chosin, which was a very bloody battle, very high casualties.
And we were outnumbered 60 to 1. And fortunately, I was able to come out with nothing more than frozen feet and hands. The thing that I remember most is before we boarded ship to leave North Korea, is we marched out of there singing the Marine Corps hymn, which was a great thing, and I get emotional about it, and yet today.
Seventh grade ceremony, I didn't hear a pin drop. I mean, they certainly care. As a teacher, I see this. They care about their country. They want to do well. I think it's just that they need that mentorship. With a ceremony like this, it really helps, and we can refer back to it. We can talk about, Mr. Kuhn and his sacrifice, and Mr. Altieri, and that they went through some tough times, and they did these things. They sacrificed, not so much for themselves, but really for them.
It's great to see the students out here. It's really nice to see how many of them have family members that have served in the military. It's a reminder of what it takes to keep this country free.
On Veterans Day, we honor all who answered to a service call. Soldiers young and soldiers old fought for freedom, brave and bold. Some have lived while others died, and all of them deserve our pride. We're proud of all the soldiers who kept thinking of red, white, and blue. They fought for us in all our rights. They fought through many days and nights. And though we may not know each name, we thank all veterans just the same.
What a special program for all involved. That's all the time we have for this episode of Spotlight on Shawnee Mission. Join us again as we continue to feature the programs and people of Shawnee Mission who are helping guide students to success. Thank you for watching.